Hello, and welcome to the Hot Work Permit training. First, we will identify what a hot work permit is and when it is required. A hot work permit is a written authorization that allows tasks that generate heat, sparks, or flames, such as welding or cutting, to be performed in areas not designed for such work, ensuring fire prevention measures are in place. Let's look at a couple of simple examples. For instance, if we're going to weld a metal pipe for the air conditioning system, do we need a hot work permit? Absolutely! Welding produces heat, open flame, and many other factors that can pose a fire risk. But sometimes it's not so obvious. There are tasks that may seem safe, but still require a hot work permit. For example, if I'm going to cut a piece of metal using a grinder, do I need a hot work permit? Or if I'm going to use a heat gun? Yes, you need a hot work permit in all of these cases. The rule you must always keep in mind is that it's not just about seeing an open flame. Any activity that generates heat, sparks, or a source of ignition requires a hot work permit. Of course, if you're welding or using open flame tools, like torching for roofing work, you'll definitely need one. Let's be clear. If you are going to perform any task that creates heat, sparks, or flames, you must have a hot work permit. Remember that the hot work permit is like a checklist that helps guide you through important steps to prevent fires and control hazards. However, you must always rely on your experience and common sense to be even more cautious, even if the permit doesn't explicitly mention it. For example, in many cases the hot work permit will ask you to inspect an area of 35 feet around your workspace. That means you need to look carefully and scan those 35 feet for anything flammable, like wood that could easily catch fire or chemicals, such as fuels, that might be too close to the welding or hot work area. But the permit won't tell you exactly how to address those risks. That's why, if you're not 100% sure how to prevent a fire, you should speak with your supervisor or the company's safety personnel to review possible safe options. Now let's review the form that you are required to complete before performing any task that generates heat and requires a hot work permit. To make this process easier, we've developed a simple and efficient system. Instead of dealing with paper forms and filling out a lot of information by hand, you can now complete everything from your phone in just a few minutes. All you have to do is enter the required information and submit it electronically. This system will help you streamline your work, and most importantly, enhance fire prevention, which is critical for your safety and everyone else's. Using your phone's camera, you'll scan the QR code for the form. Once you access the form, you'll see it's divided into 4 simple steps you must follow. Let's go through them one by one. Step 1. Inspect the area within a 35-foot radius. You need to carefully observe your surroundings. What's around you? Are there cardboard boxes, wood, gasoline? Is the area clean? Are you welding in an enclosed space? Is there proper ventilation? In other words, you need to evaluate all the conditions in the work area and take preventive safety measures. For example, if there's a fuel tank nearby, you must remove it and place it as far away as possible from the hot work area. If removal isn't possible, then you must cover any flammable material with fire-resistant blankets. Also, make sure the area is clean. Remember, keeping your workspace clean is essential. Many risks, including fire, can be prevented simply by cleaning up before starting the job. Fire watch. It's very important to understand that having additional help during hot work is not optional, it's mandatory. This means you must have the assistance of a worker with experience and basic safety knowledge. The worker assigned as the fire watch will have one single responsibility: monitoring the work area. They cannot be performing other tasks, and must remain fully focused on what's happening, especially to watch for any signs of fire. As we all know, when performing tasks like welding or grinding, our full attention is on the work, which means we can't see what's happening around us. So while I'm welding, I may not notice a fire starting, even if it's just a step away. That's why a fire watch is required both during and after hot work operations. You must keep the fire watch on site the entire time the hot work is being performed and for at least 1 hour afterward. Why after the work is done? Because once the job is completed, many materials and surfaces may still retain heat, and that heat can ignite a fire minutes later. If no one is watching, the fire could grow out of control and cause serious damage. Depending on the type of work performed, a fire watch may be required for up to 6 hours after the job is completed. It might sound excessive, but it is absolutely necessary to ensure everyone's safety. Step 3. Fire extinguisher check. This step is very important. You must take 2 required photos. First photo. Show the general condition of the fire extinguisher. The photo should clearly display the extinguisher, its physical condition, the handle, its cleanliness, and that it is easily accessible. Second photo. Take a close-up photo of the pressure gauge. Remember, the needle must be in the green zone. If the needle is not in the green, you cannot use that extinguisher. Inspecting the fire extinguisher is mandatory and critical. If you start hot work with a faulty or discharged extinguisher, you're exposing yourself and others to a high fire risk, and you won't have the proper tool to respond quickly. Step 4. Final information and signature. In this final step you must enter your full name. Select the project where you will be working. Provide the name of the company you work for. Sign the form electronically. Once you've filled in these fields, review the entire form carefully. Make sure that all required fields are complete and that you have successfully uploaded both fire extinguisher photos. When everything is correct, click the Submit button to send the form.